And I want to interject something else that's important, again, from an IFS lens. The hell no part of me, it's not going to be helpful for me to tell that part it's wrong, that I wish you'd get out of me. I don't want you to be a part anymore. A critical part of me just beating up on it. And I think there's some modes of therapy that, in so many words, would take that position. Well, we need to get rid of this part.
Clients come in and say it. Clients come in and say, when I work with addiction, clients who come in and I say, what would you like from our time together? And I want to get rid of this addiction. Yes. I want to get rid of this behavior. And literally those words. And I say, I could no sooner help you get rid of that than I could help you cut off a part of your body.
Yeah. And they go, well, okay, what wacko have I hired?
Yeah. Like, why did I call you? Why are we here? What are you talking about? I don't, wait, what?
Yes. And so it's bringing curiosity and compassion to that part, to the hell no part that seems to be causing this disruption within my system, and getting to understand its story because it has a good intention, which is
and I have a question. Is this the manager or is this a protector?
Well, a manager is a protector. There's two types of protectors, the manager and the firefighter. And the manager's trying to contain things. Let's set it up so we can manage this, orchestrate it, manipulate it. But eventually, the manager fails.
Because it's just not containable.
Because that vulnerable part is screaming, gets too big, too loud. The pain, everything comes gushing out. And that's when the firefighter protector steps in and says, okay, scorched earth, we're going to soothe. There's a good intention here. And this is kind of the addictive cycle.
Yeah.
We are going to soothe this vulnerable part that's in so much pain. And then there's a myriad of things that can be done to soothe that part. Alcohol, reading, disassociation,
pornography, compulsive sex, drugs.
Yes. I mean, money, spending.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, let's come back to that.
That.
And then you wake up the next day and another part's like, what did you do? And the shame and the critical part. But anyway, those are the two types, the firefighters. And they don't care. Their focus is, we're going to soothe this vulnerable part at all cost.
Mm-hmm. That's our job.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
So it's
great way to view a conversation between two partners in a coupleship, to build that sense of curiosity, awareness, compassion, and then a way to come together instead of arguing, defending for a position, joining together on a common outcome. And common means that I don't always get what I want and you don't always get what you want, but we work together as a team. And that's the whole point of collaboration. That's the whole point of coupleship Inc. It's how to resolve the conflict towards the intimacy. And intimacy isn't that I'm happy and you're happy. It's that we share, we learn, and we have each other.
Yes. And we're sharing the vulnerable parts with each other. Or here's what's happening for me.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, awareness, like, okay, wow, I know where this comes from. And it's triggered again. And gives, I would think, a huge amount of information to my partner.
Yeah.
To be viewing it with, okay, got it. Got what's going on.
Right. How well I know my partner, and this is the part of them that I'm familiar with now.
And I think a little bit more shallow level, when we work with money scripts, it's so common when we we take on, say, like a financial planning client and go through all the money scripts and stuff, and they identify their top 10. That down the road they say, "Oh, my money script is talking," and they may not even know IFS and know that relationship, or they can identify in their partner. Oh, I hear your money script talking. Now that could be used in a very judgmental, shaming way.
Let's hope not, but yes, it could be.
And it could be used into, okay, I've heard the story. I've heard your story around that money script. I get it. I get why you are right now just super frightened about spending,
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
and to give that compassion.
And it's really, from a clinician's point of view, so rewarding. I really enjoy when couples are putting into practice and I see it replicated. It's they're integrating, they're really internalizing the work that they're coming in to do. And it's rewarding from a professional's perspective, but it's rewarding because I get that this therapy works, financial therapy works, and it's the awareness that I'm not wrong, that there's nothing shameful about seeing things differently and not weaponizing insight. Just because I'm wrong, it's I just didn't know, or I wasn't curious, or I wasn't aware. And that doesn't make me a bad person. It just means that I learned something new.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of coming back to what you said originally, is understanding that the person is not their behavior. I'm not identified as an overspender. I have a part of me that overspends, but I am not inherently, at the core of my soul, an overspender. There's a part of me that's actually been wounded and is behind overspending. I'm not talking about spending, I'm talking about overspending.
I like that. Yeah. It's a great way to put it, summarize it.
Yeah. So um, I'm I'm wondering a couple things. Is how do I start this? How do I um, start doing this work on my own, or do I need a therapist? Because I'm guessing that the couple that could just do this on their own without a mentor or some modeling or some mediation would be pretty aware, insightful, super mature people in their personal growth.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons you and I wanted to record these videos is to bring the book to life and to help animate what we talk about in the book, so that for the listener or the viewer, we went to such great lengths to elaborate what a couple can do for it to be self-led, as long as they follow the exercises and really dig in. And I always support getting help and asking for help and assistance, if that's a financial therapist, a financial planner, another professional, whoever can help bring a perspective from the outside, because we get really stuck in our ways and we get blindsided, or not blindsided, excuse me, really kind of channeled into a very narrow and rigid perspective.
We talk about one thing in this book, and it was also in Facilitating Financial Health in that book. It's called the Money Dialogue. And it's not quite as developed as the way I think we presented it in Coupleship Inc. And that's
I forgot all about that.
This is something that you can do on your own that could be very insightful. I had people who have done this that have just like been blown away. And so it's interviewing that part of yourself that is the spender, say. And so coming from self, coming from an authenticity, coming from that curious, compassionate person that you really are at your core on your good days.
So sitting down and literally writing out the person self. So Rick would be the person and you're dialoguing with spending.
Yes. It's in a form of therapy, and I hope
Empty
it's
chair.
right, called Gestalt. It's
Gestalt
the
work, yeah.
empty chair exercise. And actually, this is where Dick Short started in IFS. He'd have two chairs. Okay, ask your spender a question. Okay, great. Now switch, go over to that chair, respond from that part.
Very effective intervention.
Great. Come back over here, respond from self, and just have this interview. And sometimes what will happen is it won't always be the self doing the interviewing. The critic could come in and say, well, that's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And it might be help to, well, you can do this with a therapist, you can do it on your own. But just to try and hang out and interview this part.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, actually. It's tremendous fun. And when one does it and walks away and comes back, if that critical part is coming out, they can see it because they now have, kind of gotten some, they've cleared the air. They come back and look at it and they go, oh, okay, I was becoming critical here when I started replying from that place. It's very fun because it's a way to have an enjoyable, non-critical, externalized dialogue. The narrative that's in here, the inside voice, becomes outside.
So Deb, a part of me is going, well, this may not be fun for everybody.
Probably not.
I think you and I may have a jaded view as to what fun is.
I agree.
Because when you've done this stuff long enough, you can really, truly be curious. Like, this is going to be fun to explore this. But oftentimes when you first start doing this, it is very normal for a lot of emotion to come up.
And frustration, right?
Frustration, all sorts of stuff. And I teach this in my my class at Golden Gate University. I have them do this type of conversation, and many times I'll get feedback. This became so emotional. What do I do with these emotions? Well, what's been triggered is the exile.
That little, sometimes very young part.
Very young, wounded part. So the conversation can go many directions, but I'm just saying, if you decide to do this, you haven't done anything wrong. You've probably done a lot right if emotion starts coming up with this.
Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that, because you're right. You and I have been at this a while, and we're prepared for and aware of what may come up, but certainly frustration, very much so, some buried pain, exiled pain, woundedness, trauma. And that if in those cases, the person dialoguing does experience some unsettling or distress, certainly never hesitate to reach out for help from a professional, by all means. It's also helpful to reach out to loved ones, trusted others, partner, sponsors, mentors, because you'll probably find, that person will probably find, that they are met with compassion and validation. Absolutely.
Well, Deb, we're going to have to leave this here. Another great conversation. And I look forward to when we do this again.
Same here. Thanks, Rick.